Hello and welcome to the Pimpin' Poetry Podcast. Today our guest is Chev. How are
Hi,
you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Good. Chev, you're a really dope artist, and I
Thank
want you to know
you.
that. Okay. I appreciate you being here today. And
Happy to have me. Well,
honestly,
I'm
I
yeah,
am I'm excited to get
me
into
too.
this. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? One.
Well, I was born by the river in a little tent.
Born by the river.
I'm kidding. I'm actually from New York City. Moved to Atlanta when I was about 8 years old.
Mhm.
Me and poetry ran into each other when I was in college at about 20. I'm 26 now, and we've never gotten out of each other's business since then.
That's dope. That's dope. You know, everyone seems to have a crazy relationship with poetry. And I got asked, why is it the Pimpin' Poetry podcast? It's because we out here pimping poetry. All right. Poetry been acting up for a minute, and we
Mm,
need to get her out in these streets. Do
mm.
you understand?
Where y'all been pimping poetry, poetry been pimping me. I ain't know I had the game backwards.
Yeah, it's okay. A lot of people have the game backwards, but we're gonna correct that. We're gonna get it together. All
Okay.
right. So uh so tell us a little bit about what your first experience with
Poetry.
poetry
Good old poetry.
poetry was.
No, we good. Let's see here. All right. So I'm about 20 years old. I'm at St. John's. I believe it's my third year,
Hmm.
and I just wanted to do anything that was not like about a party right now, because I was like, damn, I need daytime hobbies. I'm
Right.
interesting. I'm well rounded. I can do stuff, or at least this is what I'm telling myself.
Yes.
So one of the things I did was join the poetry club, and we'd always like share at the end of class. And people thought I was really good, but they never tell me because for some reason I was like, why do people think I'm scary? I'm not.
Hmm.
And our club president, Tamara, signs me up for a poetry slam they're having in like 2 weeks. I have no idea what a
Nice.
slam is. I don't know what it smells like. I don't know what you feed it.
Right.
I don't know where you like what you wear it at.
Where'd it
You
come
know what I'm
from?
saying? I thought it was that thing where people supposed to snap and wear dark clothes like in a goofy movie.
Yes.
But
Yes. That is kind of.
and come to think of it, I wasn't even like bright enough to think I should Google it before I do this. I just panicked for 2 weeks.
Mm,
And her saying, "Oh yeah, well, you don't have a choice. Like you're in it." And the winners of the slam end up on a team
yeah.
called the Cup C team, going to the College Union Poetry Slam Invitational, where we were going to compete in Philadelphia against other colleges. And but
Nice.
that's if you want, right? I went
Right.
there. I had no poem. I had no experience. I had no common sense.
Hmm.
So I just signed my name up at the bottom. And usually they'd call names at random, but colleges don't always know what we're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yes, I said it. We don't. And so,
I'm
like, they
like,
were
where is
actually
this
reading the
going? What
names off
happened?
in order. So
Yes.
that gave me like extra time to sit here and just start writing something on my phone because I was like,
Wow.
y'all not gonna embarrass me at this school. I done waited my whole life to be as cool as I am now.
Sir, you showed up to this competition with no poem,
Not a damn
nothing.
thing. Nothing. No. Just dollar and a dream and a whole lot of luck.
That is
And
crazy.
I wrote a poem and they were like, good score. You made it to the next round. I was like, okay, cool. Panicked again.
Hmm. Hmm.
I was like, okay, that had to have been a fluke. There's no way.
Yeah.
Made it to the next round.
Yeah.
Panicked again. Got to the last one. Made the team. I was like, oh, wow. That just happened.
That
I
is
guess I'm on a team for like the first time since I left high school. Let's do this. And I just stuck around.
that is crazy. That is so cool though. So you before this had experience with freestyling and
A little
just
bit.
okay. Okay. Wow.
You're a
That is
classic standard lunch table rapper.
right, right. That's amazing. So and from there, y'all went and won the whole thing? Was this the Mighty
Absolutely
Ducks?
not. We got smacked. When I tell you,
Okay.
we got
Okay.
beat down. We did love every single one of my teammates, love all my coaches, but
Mm-hmm.
we got smoked. We did.
Mm-hmm.
There were schools that were a lot more experienced and had like some more time together.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade like any of my teammates for the world though. But when I left, I know I didn't have a whole lot of confidence. Uh, Particularly a teammate I had by the name of Faye Harvey.
Mm-hmm.
She had been doing poetry a little bit longer than me. She became like a big sister to me in that time,
Right.
and like really just spoke life into me. And then my coaches did. Shout out to Saray Agbaje, Khadijah Johnson, Jamie, James, Tom, wherever you are, because I don't get to hear from Tom too often anymore, but I wish
Right.
I could. And everybody was just
Cool.
so warm and welcoming because I was like the newest person to the craft
Mm-hmm.
itself.
Mm-hmm. So,
And yeah, I went solo after that because, well, school semester was over, so I just tried it, and it stuck a little bit.
okay. And that was, wait, that was your junior year or senior?
That was junior. Yes, it
Okay.
was your
Okay.
third.
Nice. Did you feel like this was a place? How often did you feel like you could use your art to sort of like therapy? Because I feel like a lot of the folks are trying to say that that writing is their therapy, is how they get their
No,
emotions out.
no, people, please get a therapist. Please get an actual therapist. Please do that
Get it.
because writing is an echo chamber. You hear your own voice and your own unquestioned, unchallenged thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Please get somebody with like some mental health training who's going to talk back to you and give you real tools. But
Right.
I will say, poetry has helped me express emotions
Mm-hmm.
and helped me, given me a reason to sit down and compartmentalize and break down and decipher
Right.
what my emotions are and what type of things they stem from.
Yeah.
Because in order to tell the story well, I have to be able to make it all make sense to a complete stranger.
Mm. That is that is interesting. So, have you been like in a writing group? Did y'all write together when you were a part of this team?
Yes, yes, we wrote together all the time.
How was that
And
helpful?
I learned a lot of technical aspects from them.
Mm-hmm.
They taught me things like how to be more concise in your writing. My coach always told me the most like poetry is the art of saying a lot in a little.
Mm-hmm.
Like there always should be more to what you said than what you said,
Right.
and that helped me, and it stuck with me like throughout the years. I learned to cut articles, learn how to project my own voice. I learned active voice and active speaking, and study different forms like pantoons, palindromes, sestinas,
Yeah.
and just going off from there. And
Cool.
yeah, I
So,
really that experience did a lot for me.
yeah,
I'm grateful for those people.
awesome. That's great. Oh, okay. You're starting off. You started off at a. It seems like you had a amazing foundation,
I did.
and
Couldn't be here without it.
that is important. So, this podcast, we wanted to just use this opportunity to kind of cast a light on some of the more talented people who are in our community creating poetry and really just focus on poetry itself. Because a lot of the times people tend to make it seem like it is a dead art form, like it's not
Never.
this amazing like it isn't a complete tool. Like we want to compare it to rapping and singing and spoken word and like
I don't compare rectangles to squares.
I'm glad. I'm glad. What about poetry itself makes it significant to you?
It's the first way I knew how to make the world make sense. I knew I didn't have like all of the language to explain everything I ever thought or felt. So it allowed me to expand what I did know how to say
Mm-hmm.
and encapsulate those feelings and express them to other people.
Right.
And like a metaphor, what they'll tell you in middle school is just a comparison between two things that's not using like or as because then it'd be a simile. Like, but once you get into like the realm of no, it is the marriage of two ideas to create an entirely new concept
Mm-hmm.
that you only have to have seen one of those things to understand.
Right. Huh. I never thought of a metaphor like that.
And
And okay, so what you're saying is that it has helped you to it has given you a completely different understanding of your environment and the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what are some of the things and the techniques when you are writing
Mm.
that you use to relate to your audience?
Um, I have to remember, and when coaching, because sometimes I coach other artists, that they know everything I tell them. And the context of these stories, sometimes they're my life, and I'm aware of everything I've been through to get to this point. I have to give you as many relevant things as I can
Mm-hmm.
to get you here to
Mm-hmm.
wherever I can take you from that point. And I'd say, if I want to go specific techniques, because I hate giving out non tangible advice to anybody who may be watching this looking for something like that, I'd say start with a concept that you fully understand.
Mm.
Like, have your metaphor or your analogy or whatever you are going to relate two things to, or three things to, or
Right.
your understanding of this topic all the way through. Like,
Right.
we have a responsibility to be experts if we're going to be on a microphone and talking to people, or at least try to be as
Okay.
well versed in the thing we're talking about
Yes.
as we possibly can be.
Yes. I
Anticipate the
agree.
rebuttals to what you are going to
I
say
most
and be
definitely
ready for it.
agree.
Address everything, unpack everything. If the poem asks you to be vulnerable, be vulnerable. If the poem asks you to be knowledgeable, be knowledgeable. If the poem asks for you to be funny, be funny. And always make sure everything you're doing is working in concert.
Okay. Before I get to what working in concert even means,
Go for it.
I want to talk about understanding your concept completely.
Come on now.
So, I have been thinking about how, like, at what point do you know that you understand this concept completely? How much research does it take in order for you to be fully confident
Mm-hmm.
in the fact that you know enough
Mm-hmm.
about a topic to speak on it? Because I was like, I read something the other day that says you do not have to have an opinion on
You do not.
everything. And
It's
I was
way
just
more
like,
expensive. Not. It's way more
I was
expensive to have
like,
one.
I didn't believe that my whole entire life until I realized, like, huh, that's really important. Like, you don't have to have an opinion. I do think you do need to seek the information
Mm-hmm.
to try to understand other people's perspectives,
Mm-hmm.
or to understand different perspectives in
100%.
general.
Mm-hmm.
So how, like, in what way do you prepare yourself for that? Like, this, what for you is a clear way to understand a concept? And
Clear way to understand a concept. I think you understand the concept when the poem is the poem is longer
mm-hmm.
than you want it to be.
Ooh,
When you have more things to say than you have time to say it, and you're focused on cutting down as opposed
right,
to like trying to fill space. Like, we all
right,
wrote essays when we was in school, and they gave,
mm-hmm.
when you was young, it was 5 paragraphs. You get older, it might be 5 pages, 10 pages, whatever. You start to fluff it a little bit,
Yeah, yeah,
do what you got to do to make that page number.
no, I
No,
feel
no,
it.
no. If you know the concept in a poem backwards and forwards, you should be cutting down. You're like, okay, I don't have to tell him this. I don't have to tell him that. And you should be able to present like your analogy to someone,
Right.
not in a poem at all, and they couldn't argue it away if they tried to,
Ooh,
like, thoroughly.
right. Whew. Okay.
Because you gonna have that one little smart ass in your audience
Who was just
who's
like,
like, that's cool, but what about this?
what
Had to
about
think,
what
like,
about
no,
this?
I thought
Definitely.
about it 3 times.
Right, right. I think because what I studied was screenwriting in school.
Okay.
Um, I think that applies to that form as well.
For sure.
Just oftentimes we want everything to be a fact, but everything in life is not a fact. Your experiences and your opinion are actually really important to, I think, display, even when it's just not true. That was the thought that came to your head. People want to know what you're thinking and
Mm-hmm.
what you have going on. And I think that a lot of people get so hung up on the technicality that they can't express their art the way they want to.
Mm-hmm.
Or we get into these discussions where we're thinking about, oh, well, social media will not respond well to this. You know, everybody's a theorist these days. Have everyone has an opinion. Everybody has their own idea of how they view the world.
As long as you are not out here harming people or using rhetoric that harms people, you gonna find your tribe. Just say what you gotta say.
Right.
Like the audience that someone else has might not be for you because they might not feel how you feel, believe what you believe, resonate with what you resonate with. But if you keep doing you and you are not harming folk, eventually you're gonna find if there's like one person in every 100 who enjoys you, go in 100 rooms, then you found 100 people.
Period.
It's just sometimes we don't want to do that work because it's a lot and it's hard, and being an artist costs money before it makes any.
Right.
And everybody wants to be accepted, wants to be popular, wants to be affirmed, and all of those things. And you might see that happen for someone else, and it takes a certain amount of like discipline and like self-reassurance, and that it may just be their day-to-day, it may be their time, and mine is going to find me, and me and my people are going to find each other.
Yes, that is important. I definitely want to talk about how you navigated creating your art and knowing that you got to starve sometimes because it's not always going to be consistent. How did you maintain a positive outlook on life, and how did you tend to your mental health and make sure?
I had a homeless stint after college for a little while, so I took the starving artist a little too literally.
No, that's literally what it is.
And recently, a lot of people are saying, "Oh yeah, death to the starving artist. We're monetizing." I don't think that artists necessarily have to starve in sense of not getting value out of their art or not gaining. It's always fuck capitalism, but I have to stay alive.
Yeah.
So as long as I got to stay alive, I have to figure out a way to make these things I spend my time on also help me stay alive.
Right.
So I would say how you maintain a positive outlook on me was I realized that like younger ages, I could survive almost anything and I can get over almost anything I survived.
Okay, nice.
So like I have the chance to forgive the world and forgive myself for anything that didn't kill me.
Forgiveness. That is, I think that's key to overcoming childhood trauma.
For sure.
Because a lot of the time, growing up in a Caribbean house, I just have to accept. I just have to accept that there's certain things that will never be addressed.
And sometimes you gotta forgive people who didn't apologize.
They won't. Like it's not like you gotta stop waiting for that apology.
Sometimes you gotta forgive people who can't, who don't have the tools to apologize yet. Yes. Because whether you fix this bridge or I fix this bridge, it's got to get fixed.
Right.
So if I sit here going, "Oh, it's your responsibility," and certain things are like relationships with parents. You met me when I was a baby. You were an adult. This should probably be on.
Yeah.
But at some point, I have to decide what matters to me the most, and that's whether or not this bridge or this foundation is built, or whether or not you specifically built it.
Yeah, because it's like I can't blame you for something that your mother did to you. Like you never unlearn that bad habit, and I forgive.
And it stuck with you.
I must forgive because that's the journey you're on. Love you, parents. I understand that yes, there is some responsibility for you to kind of take accountability, but I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm not going to let that, control our relationship.
I feel you. And not just like older family, but like adjacent family. I think you have an even greater responsibility when it comes to forgiving younger family, because like teaching and like growing them is our jobs. Just as people, whether they're your kids or not.
Right.
Like do something, like try to be the adult a younger you could have really needed or used at a time. And I forgot something I was going to say in regards to the starving artist point that it just popped back into my head.
Go ahead.
It was, yes, you should seek value where you can, because I promise you, the greatest breakthroughs I made as an artist was when I wasn't starving, was when all my things were taken care of. and I was able to eat and breathe, and
It's
there
easier.
wasn't a struggle to focus on. It was, I can sit in this room that is warm, I am full and fed, and I can create my art without my body distracting me saying, we're gonna die or
Right.
something's gonna happen.
Right. We got to
And
stop glamorizing the struggle.
yes,
Like
but
sometimes you
come
have to
on,
struggle. Struggling
and
does often
come on.
times make us stronger, but it's not something we want for
Facts.
everyone.
And that's exactly where I was going to go. To me, I think the modern, like, starving artist should actually be the investing artist and the investing curator.
Hmm.
It is going to cost you to do this
Yeah.
at the beginning. I
Yeah.
don't give a damn if you are the greatest of all time or if you are absolute basura. It is going to cost you. You're going to have
Yes.
to travel to places. You're going to have to work for free
Right.
early. And
Right.
then you work to a point where you ain't working for free no more. You're going to have to lose some sleep working on some stuff. You're going to have to meet some deadlines. All my curators and hosts, you're going to have to pay that feature
Hmm.
and pay that headliner. Even if them ticket sales ain't look like them ticket sales, you wanted them ticket sales to look. That's your
Hmm.
job.
Hmm. No, yes. And it means paying other artists for their work as
Yes.
well. Because when
And
you get a bag, there is no
come on.
reason that you think that other people should work for you for free.
And
Like you've been
you,
in their shoes. You
mm-hmm,
like how can you look someone in their eye who is on the same journey you were on
mm-hmm.
and say, "Hey, I can't give you exactly what I know I was looking for when I was in that situation. You're just going to have to struggle like I did." No.
Yeah, and it becomes personal. I know sometimes people say it's business, not personal. I think business. And I think I heard one of my favorite rappers. I think I heard Lil Russell say, "There's nothing more personal than business, because
Mm,
how you do someone is how you're comfortable doing them. You don't
exactly.
have to make that choice." And when
Right.
I did, there was a stint where I was doing more hosting and curating than I was actual performance. And it was, no, I'd tell everyone that featured for me, this is the base. If absolutely no one shows up, this is how much money I'm going to give you.
Yeah.
And sometimes that meant I lost money those nights.
Yeah.
Sometimes, we
But
made
you didn't
enough to where
lose
I could
shit.
give you
You
extra.
you gained a connection with people who are
Hmm.
going to trust the fact that you're trustworthy and
Yeah,
like
and
I there are gains, even if
mhm,
it isn't a monetary value, there are
mhm.
gains in being trustworthy and keeping your word and investing in
Facts.
others.
And that is where, like, I also had to work on my forgiveness because I felt how difficult it was.
Right.
Where I was like, I know I got a bill coming up, or I know I
Mm-hmm.
could use this money right now, but I told this artist I was going to pay them for this show regardless of anything.
Right.
It is my job to pay them. I am going to do that. Then I'm going to figure out my situation as
Right.
my business. And it's a difficult thing to do. It's hard. Like when
Mm-hmm.
you know how easily you could keep this $100, $200, $300, $1,000 in your pocket
Yeah.
to hand it to this person.
Yeah. And you've done a lot of work. It feels
Mm-hmm.
like all of the things that you do,
Mm-hmm.
just all of the things that it takes to run a show. Like artists don't know the audience often don't know what's going
Mm-hmm.
on behind the scenes and how many
Mm-hmm.
things are in play and
Facts.
all of the marketing. The average audience member does not know
No.
that. And even artists, because sometimes you just come and you perform. You've never
Love
actually
it.
thrown your own event. You
Best
don't
days.
know. Like so I think being being a creator or even a small business owner,
Mm-hmm.
we need in the Black community
My
especially
niggas.
to sit down and educate ourselves on a lot of different things because it doesn't happen overnight. And as your business grows, there are certain things that you have to invest in.
Yeah.
All of that money that you get in from sales, all of the money you get in
Mm-hmm.
from tickets and merch and all of that, it
Mm-hmm.
can't be blown in one day. It has to be invested in the next show.
Facts. And it's scary. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I try to give people grace when I get the opportunity
Mm-hmm.
because it's so scary. I speak in sports analogies a lot. So if that
I'm gonna
happens,
try to
I'm sorry.
understand them.
But it's, I think I heard a coach one time say, yo, winning is never going to be promised to you. The work does not promise that you will win, the work gives you a chance. I
Right.
cannot tell you that if you do all of this work and do all of these things right, that you are going to experience what winning is for you.
Right.
But I can tell you, if you don't, you have no chance. So
For a
all
fact.
these investments, there are hope that like this is going to come back to me on the back end. I'm going to create a beautiful community. I'm going to be able to serve my community. I'm going to be able to take care of myself and my people through my art. And if you do all of the work, you are just giving yourself a better chance at that. But
Right.
it still may just not be in the cards for you. And that is a terrifying thing for any of us at the start of our journey or even in the
Could
middle
make
of
you
it.
want to completely quit that
Come on.
and move on to something else.
It'll make an accountant out
I
you real fast.
have yo, this doesn't seem to be working. And then you put it down for a little bit. Now it's been 2-3 years.
Say
And
that
you're like,
construction job got what
wow,
benefits?
you know, ooh.
Dental center.
No, really. So what moment for you was it that you decided, okay, I'm investing in my art. I can't. Did you have any pressure from your parents, your
No.
family?
No, and I love that eternally from my parents. My parents was like, you can be whatever you want legally.
Nice.
You can legally be whatever you want.
That is good.
You know, we're going to be happy for you to see it work.
Yeah.
And that happens because I think sometimes, even if I didn't know if they thought it would work, I know they were always rooting for me. And that became enough for me because I think sometimes there are people who are rooting for you, but don't believe in you.
Right.
There are people who believe in you, but they're not rooting for you. Those are your haters. And they scared it's gonna happen, but they ain't happy to see it. And I understand, like they come from a different generation where like different career paths rewarded different things than where I'm in. So like my parents don't know 5 poets. 2, 3 maybe. But they root for me. And
that's great.
That's really enough for me. And I can't thank them enough for that, especially my mother.
Support the shout out to Chev's mom.
Shout out to Chev's mom.
Because yeah, it is that's very important to have that support and to know that even if things didn't work out, that you would still have someone who allowed you to try and allowed you to grow as a person without really trying to impose all of their fears on you. Because it's very easy to listen to our parents and to listen to those who we think of as mentors and go, nah, yeah, this is the better decision for me, even though it's going to make me a little unhappy. But this is a great discussion. We are going to take a quick break.
Okay.
And when we get back, we can talk and go over a few trivia questions I have for you. Yeah?
Let's do it.
All right. Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Pimpin' Poetry Podcast. Today, our guest is Chev.
Hi.
Hi, how's it going?
Pretty good.
Awesome. So in this segment, Chev, it's all right. What we've got going on is Poem of the Week, right? So we're going to go over a poem. Today's choice was Blessed Are the Poor in Spirit, a poem by Alice Walker. Yeah?
I'm through.
You a fan?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. Alice is an Aquarius, gang, a novelist, poet, and social activist. She is the first African-American woman to win the Pulitzer Prize for fiction, which she was awarded for her novel, The Color Purple.
Talk about it.
Love it. All right, let's get into it. Did you ever understand this? If my spirit was poor, how could I enter heaven? Was I depressed? Understanding editing, I see how a comma removed or inserted with careful plan can change everything. I was reminded of this when a poor young man in Tunisia, desperate to live and humiliated for trying to set himself ablaze, I felt uncomfortably warm, as if scalded by his shame. I do not have to sell vegetables from a cart as he did, or live in narrow rooms too small for spacious thought. And at this late date, I do not worry that someone will remove every single opportunity for me to thrive. Still, I am connected to, inseparable from, this young man. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Jesus. Jesus was, as usual, talking about solidarity, about how we join with others and in spirit feel the world and suffering, the same as them. This is the kingdom of owning the other as self, the self as other. That transforms grief into peace and delight. I and you might enter the heaven of right here through this door. In this spirit, knowing we are blessed, we might remain poor. Right. And that is blessed are the poor in spirit. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. So she's talking about suffering and empathizing with people.
Empathy was the main word I was thinking of.
So crazy. Like, I tend, as someone with ADHD, I tend to like have to get a control on that because I get so emotional just watching TV, watching characters that have been created for my entertainment. I'm like, this is so sad. Like, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel their emotions? What is that about? Like, and how important is empathy to you, Chev, like in your day to day?
It's essential to humanness
Mm-hmm.
when it's done correctly. I mean, when humanness is done correctly, empathy is essential. I think it is so easy for us to get wrapped up in our own opinions,
Right.
and our own feelings and thoughts and isms and schisms, and we rarely can consider the perspective and life of another person without impressing our own like sensibilities onto them.
Right. Okay. And I was thinking about that the other day. How can I, when speaking to my friends, when they're telling me an issue in their life, try to refrain from always comparing it to a situation that I've been through? Because it's an attempt to relate in a way, but it's also just, we are not the same. You are having, no matter what, I am not you and you are not me. And I need to understand that that doesn't matter.
There's enough human in your story already for me to not add mine to make it real.
No, that's,
Because typically we only understand the humanity of ourselves. We understand how we feel pain and we feel joy and we feel love and we feel anger, but not always that everyone else that exists isn't a side character in your story or like a development of your narrative. No, they're experiencing all of those things at the same time that you are. So there is enough person in your story for it to be like valuable and real and important without the adding of me.
yes.
It's almost like telling someone, I believe that you're human. You don't have to convince me.
Ooh. Damn. Okay, that shit deep. Okay, hold up. All right, so okay. I just lost all train of thought with that because that is so important. Okay, what is it called when there is like a fear when you realize that every passerby has their own experiences? What's that called?
There's got to be a word for it, but I don't know the word.
There is a word for it.
I don't know the word, I'm sorry.
But it's terrifying. Like, if I am on shrooms and I'm tripping and I really think about how many people there are in the world and how every life is important, it's just like none of the shit I'm doing really matters.
When I was a kid, it made me feel the opposite. It made me feel guilty of things. It made me feel like I have no idea how deeply anything I may have done wrong have impacted someone who's going to be sentient like all the time, who's a real person with their own thoughts. Like, how much did me like saying I was going to be at your event and really trying but just not making it mean to you?
Wow.
Like, did I say something where I might have been ignorant in a moment? Did I hurt you? Like, did I offend you? Like, I used to hate the possibility.
Wow.
That,
so
like,
you're not a narcissist. That's insane.
Damn, I could be causing harm right now. My bad.
How am I more narcissistic than a Virgo? How did I manage to do this to myself? Whoa, that's crazy. No, that's real. I'm not gonna lie, I love it when the poem gets biblical, where she took this line and broke that shit down. That shit was weighing heavy on her heart. She was just like, "What you mean, blessed are the poor in spirit? Why the fuck is my spirit poor and I'm going to heaven?" I'm sorry. Like, why am I depressed? Why, like, actively talking about depression? How do you feel Black people should try and get rid of that stigma of avoiding just addressing our mental health and depression?
By doing it while the stigma still exists.
So, like, how can we proactively, because that is a part of the nonprofit I'm trying to start, definitely talking and providing the resources, because I'm no, at the end of the day, it's just the fact that we don't have the knowledge and we don't have the resources to understand that on top of all the other shit we got going on in our lives, like, we have to take care of our mental.
I think, for one, we have to find a way to take a lot of people out of survival mode. And that some people avoid their emotions because, like, their physical is being harmed, in a sense of, I'm hungry, I ain't got time to worry about whether or not I'm sad right now, or I'm impoverished, I ain't got time to worry about whether or not I'm sad right now, or I need this opportunity for myself or, like, others in my family. I can't worry about it right now. I think that's often what we do. We tell kids, "Oh, you ain't got time because what you worried about, what you angry, what you sad for? I give you something to be sad about."
Right, but I feel like it's the responsibility of those who have money and who have the resources and aren't using it to give back and aren't investing in their community in this way. We're donating to sports, we're donating to other parts of the community, housing, things like that. But, like, I don't think that I can say, yo, this is a celebrity who really has given back and really has talked about their addictions and things like that, just to try and improve the lives of others. Like, where are we going to see that?
I'd say for the second thing, it's, talk about yours. Whoever you are, if you are given a platform, be open and, like, honest about yours, because things become okay when people do them as though they're okay.
Right.
And I recall Simone Biles, like, when she had to pull out of the Olympics, something that only occurs every 4 years, something you've been the absolute greatest ever at for, like, close to 10.
Right. All because of, in her mind,
my head says I gotta sit down right now, and y'all can feel how y'all got to feel, but I'm gonna make sure I'm all right.
Right. Hello and welcome back to the Pimpin' Poetry Podcast. Today our guest is Chev.
Hi.
Chev, we've been having a great conversation, okay? And I'm excited because I have a very important question for you.
What's up?
What do we need to do to get more Black men in therapy?
Make it safe.
Yeah.
I think we have to take a lot of people out of survival mode. Right. Like I said, so I love every chance I get to see someone do, like, nonprofit mental health work, anything that's not based on the money you have, because I think a lot of us have learned or gathered the idea that mental health is a rich person's concern. Yes. Because not everyone can just outright afford a therapist out of their pocket. I think we gotta let them little boys cry sometimes. Yes. And tell them that it's completely okay for them to do so, even if the world doesn't have to bend every time they do. Because while you're entitled to all of your emotions, after you've expressed them, the reality of the situation is still going to be whatever it is. And be okay with that. Yes. And not in a way that requires you to bottle up. I think we as a society have to unlearn the precariousness of masculinity. I think we make it very precarious, to where a lot of young men and older ones walk around thinking they constantly have to prove that they are men, or that something can be taken away from them from so many random actions. And all you have to do is believe it for that to become real to you.
Yes. I definitely agree. I think that it helps to see like your fathers, your uncles,
For sure.
these adults in your life be more vulnerable in order for you to do it as well.
For sure. We gotta do
Because
it.
like we often mirror those who we look up to. And uh as far as mentoring and giving that type of advice, do you feel like you've had great mentors in your life and that you have been able to mentor others?
Accidentally. I accidentally had great mentors. I've had great examples of what not to do
Right?
in life. I've had people I just looked up to for how they went about things.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to do more mentorship because I'm getting, on the darker sides of my 20s. I felt like while I was a little young, sure, if I meet a young poet in the area, if they need anything at all and I can help them with it, like conversation,
Right.
you want to pay for you to go do this show or that one, or we could sit down, we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. If you want to talk about art, we can talk about art. You want to talk about life, we can talk about life, because these are the things I have a decent little idea of.
Mm-hmm.
And as I get older and gain some more resources and do some more learning, for sure, I'd love to get involved or more involved, I should say, with
Yes.
mentorship.
I think sharing knowledge in our community is very important.
For sure.
Dre Cruz and I had a very great conversation about gatekeeping that I honestly think is really important because, yes, there are some things that you must gatekeep until a certain point, but it does know. I think, okay, that's my opinion. Like we need to gatekeep some things from white people.
Go ahead.
There's a lot of things about our
culture
culture and our experiences that I think they need to get the fuck back on. That's one thing. Understanding that timing is important. Like I would not be receptive to certain knowledge and certain comments at a certain age as I would now.
Fair.
Right? Opening, and yeah, there's a gray area for opening up that door, but I don't see why, if we would both actually gain from that experience, if we could gain something of value from an experience, why not share it with those around you? Why are you putting yourself on a pedestal and hiding all of these secrets from people who admire you and who have worked with you? It's unnecessary.
I've always hated the concept of somebody had to suffer because I did.
Oof.
Or they got to get it where I got it from.
Makes no sense to me.
Because how much further could this person take it if I saved them that time?
Right.
And how much better would whatever craft or whatever field or whatever world be if they had the time to do that?
Right.
And didn't have to spend the time surviving that I did and got like this branching off point. My misery has never loved company. I've never desired to see someone else struggle because I did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I was having this conversation with my friend the other day. Like, you have to understand, yes, you are a completely different person. There is what didn't break you could tear someone else apart. You don't know the other things that they have going on in their life. Why not make it easier? Do you really love them? If you say you love them, if you don't want to make their life a little bit easier by just sharing knowledge,
I honestly be like, yo, I'd be excited too.
Yeah.
Like I've held artist workshops, and then I get into interviews and be telling people the same things for free, or like people just ask me to help them with something. I'm like, oh yeah, we'll sit, and they be like, oh, you told me all this stuff, and we've been here for like 2-3 hours. I'll be like, yeah.
No, that's amazing. I think that's very important.
Like you getting better is cool to me.
Yep.
Because I think about the people I knew who didn't have to care if I got better.
Right.
And that's just me, like better as in healthier, better as in happier, better as in improving my skill set and my craft.
Right.
And
you lose nothing from helping others grow.
Absolutely nothing.
I'm glad.
And I think too many people have a toxic competition mindset.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a toxic competition. I think there's a healthy one. I think
Right.
I don't, like you just said, I don't lose things from giving you something I may learn.
Right.
And I don't need you to do worse. I want to do better. And I want to do better than me.
That's the goal. That's the goal. It's not.
A lot of times people get into spaces and there are people who are like competitive and they enjoy the process of people pushing each other and growing together and seeing how all this growth can measure at the end of a given amount of time. And there are people who like to be told they're better than someone else.
No, for sure.
And like to be told they're above someone else. And I've never cared for that.
You are in a ton of competitions.
Oh yeah, millions.
So it's like you've done all these slam competitions, and it's like how often do you feel like it's me against me? You know, like I cannot look at what this person has done in their history. Like, I need to do better than the last competition I did.
I say it's healthier for people to go me against me, but I'd be a liar if I said I didn't look. I look a lot, but it doesn't make me nervous. It makes me excited. Like, I enjoy this.
Okay.
Because, oh, this is how good this can be?
Right.
Let me see if I can jump just a little bit higher than that.
Right.
And if you turn around and you do something new and it goes a little bit higher than that, that's great news. Then we just gonna have to go a little bit higher again together. And like, we never resent each other. We only respect each other for it when it's done correctly.
Ooh, that's that. I think the resentment is like what the issue is. It's like, yeah, we're competing, we're shit talking, but when you leave here, are you holding a grudge for real? Like,
never.
Why are we beefing, knowing what we know going into this competition? Like, do better.
I have no issue with artists who are scheduled to compete with me talking shit if they want to.
Right.
Because I'm like, you don't have to stand on everything you saying right now. So I respect the gumption of you to say it. And I know after this, we gonna go get wings. We gonna go get Thai food. We gonna go get whatever open.
Right.
And we gonna talk about, hey, how did you come up with this? And how did you come up with, like, my favorite people to compete against I work with.
Right.
Like, there are poems that have gone against me that I've helped with the editing on. There are people who've given me feedback and then tried to take my head off. Like, I have no issue with that. Because, okay, we're going to play this game, we're going to do this competition, and then we're going to put it down.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of thank my sports background for that. Like, I got to run track in high school, run cross country, play football, and play basketball.
Right.
So I
hold
learned...
Hold on. Okay, I'm sorry. What you described seemed very healthy, and then you tried to like compare it to sports, and then I was like, I feel like y'all take that shit so personally, it'd be pissing me the fuck off. Like, I don't give a damn about who lost the Super Bowl to who. Like, we gotta get over that, right? At some point.
All right, I'm gonna talk about my thoughts on that.
I'm just saying. Like,
I got to learn what winning and losing was in front of people before I was holding, my deepest fears and stories and thoughts and emotions and traumas in the palm of my hand. Ooh. I got to learn that with a ball.
Right.
And that made it okay.
Okay. All right. The foundation.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I got to win games and come back to school on Monday, lose games and come back to school on Monday.
Right.
And you had to face like what happened in that. And I don't think less of myself because I lost today. And even that wasn't super early in my journey. It took a measure of work and a measure of belief. And now I can look at my work and say, I believe this is good and I believe this is quality. Mm-hmm. And I don't hold it against anyone else to not agree with me. Mm. That just means, okay, there's something else I can do to reach you. And if I care to reach you, I'm gonna try it. And if I don't, we gonna leave it there. As far as like people's relation to sports and how passionate they get about it, I love that. I love that you can explore the very edge of how emotional you can get at something where you don't have to harm nobody.
Okay.
Like, I love the enthusiasm you can get sitting on your couch and like experience a genuine joy and euphoria with winning, and sometimes even go down to the other emotions with losing.
No, for real. Like,
and like do it in a space where it's just like, okay. Like, how often you just get to yell in polite society?
Not often. And that is why I don't follow sports, but I do love going to live games and experiencing it. Or even, I just like the community of it, of us all sitting around the TV and rooting for something. However, I can't stand a sore loser. For like, sure. What? You can't take that grudge and carry it with you for the rest of the month. Like, cut that shit off. Grow the fuck up.
That is that unhealthy relationship, and I find it to come with a lack of accountability. Have I lost things that were technically not my fault? Sure. I always owned them though. There is always got to be, and even that took some learning. I wasn't always like that.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite poets, Black Chakra out in Baltimore, said, no, every time you lose, it's your fault. Every single time. I don't care what happened. I don't care if they cheated. It's your fault. Because if you give that power to somewhere else or something else, there's nothing you can ever do about it. So every time you come into this situation, what reason do you have to be hopeful?
Right.
If you own it and you go grow, not only did you do what this is for,
you are dropping some fucking gems right now.
Poetry slam exists for poets to get better. Like, that is what's for. And you don't just get better by watching scores. You watch each other, you watch rooms, you watch yourself.
Right.
We do what it's for, and we grow, and we learn, and we expand, because it's always on us. And the only person who's gonna water me is me.
Exactly. And this applies to relationships too, guys. Like, to everyone listening. I think once you leave a relationship, you need to only focus on your growth.
Yep.
That person's growth is no longer
your business.
It was never your responsibility to begin with. But it's not something for you to dwell over it. They're gone. They have to take their own accountability. Focus on taking your own accountability for what you've done, and look inwards and understand that you're not perfect. There's so much that you can learn. You never run out of things to learn about yourself.
Never, ever.
This is a great conversation. So I'm just gonna jump right into our final segment.
Do your thing.
And then I want you to plug all of the great things you have coming up. Yeah?
We'll try.
So you sent me some information, and I'm gonna start with a little bit of poet trivia, just to warm up a bit and get into the things that I really care about, right?
Let's get to it. Yeah.
So Chev, I'm gonna ask a few multiple choice questions, right?
That's my favorite kind.
Which famous poet's real name is James Mercer?
I mean,
do I not even have to read it?
Oh, not for that one. That's Langston Hughes. That's Langston Hughes.
Oh shit! Yes.
Still New York.
Correct. It is Langston Hughes. I did not know that. I was like, wait.
Yeah, we outside.
He got 4 names out here. That's beautiful. Next one is, which poet wrote poetry on their deathbed?
Oh, this one's gonna be tough. Who the options?
A. Edgar Allan Poe.
It sounds like some shit he do.
You know? B. Emily Dickinson.
Okay.
C. Maya Angelou.
Ooh.
D. Robert Frost.
Always bet on black. I'm going Maya, even though it sounds like something Edgar would do.
It was actually B. Emily Dickinson.
Emily! I'm sorry.
She was out here in these streets. She said, fuck the plague. I don't know what she was dying of, but,
wow, the plague. Was Ring Around Rosie? Was that you?
She was dying. Anyway,
death is serious.
Like, she took that shit seriously. A fear of poetry is called what?
We don't get options? We don't get choices?
We don't get choices no more? A. Agoraphobia.
Nah.
B. Homophobia.
Nope, I know what that one is.
C. Metrophobia. D. Phonophobia.
I'm gonna go Metro.
Yes.
I'm gonna go Metro. I feel like I heard it before.
It is C, metrophobia. I was like, wait.
Yeah, poetry's scary.
What?
That's amazing. Like,
Edgar did terrify me as like a child. Like, what are we doing? Langston was into some.
then again, to be a poet, your mind gotta be a little bit scary.
It does, which is great. All right.
Ignorance is bliss, then poetry must be terrifying.
Ooh. That's so. Oh, wow, are those two opposite ends of the spectrum to you? Because like poetry is life to you, right? Is that what's happening here?
You can say that. I want to argue with you.
Whoa.
I won't
Okay,
requote it, but I
okay.
want to argue. It's fine. We can call it that. I do other
Next
stuff
up.
though.
How many Grammys does Jay-Z have?
24.
Jesus fucking Christ. Why do you know how many Grammys this man has?
I'm a Ho fan. He's one of my favorite rappers.
Wow. I know. That's crazy though.
And like, I feel like the Grammys just happened, and Beyonce got a couple more.
Mm-hmm.
So like they brought it up a couple times, so I've seen it.
Okay.
Recently,
Okay.
like,
Why
I've
does
seen
this
the
man
number.
have 24 Grammys? I need to check how many Nas
Reasonable
has.
Doubt, probably.
Nas deserves everything.
The Black Album would probably be a good reason why.
Okay.
The Blueprint one.
Oof.
Got a ton of features, singles. We got things off Watch the Throne. It makes sense.
Meanwhile,
20
Illmatic.
20 some years. See, that was back when they wasn't giving him the rap.
That
That was back before they, had to apologize to Kendrick for all them years.
Shout out to Kendrick Lamar.
The Grammys are living in the Kendrick Lamar apology era.
Good.
Even right now.
They should. It's just like as soon as a white person, just
Every
walks
hip-hop Grammy,
into that.
And honestly, several of the R&B ones since has been, in a way, an apology to Kendrick Lamar.
Good.
It's almost like the Grammys Big Bang.
Pay attention, motherfuckers, because it's ridiculous. I wonder if it's the same for Moonlight, like at the Oscars. I didn't watch this year's Oscars.
I've not been as aware of the Oscars.
Same. How many funerals did Sam Cooke have? A1.
Okay.
B2.
All right.
C1 for all of his 5 mistresses. D none.
I'm gonna say 2.
He did. He had 2 funerals.
I'm
Why?
gonna say 2. And Bobby Womack shouldn't have been invited to neither.
Why is he beefing with Bobby? What's happening?
Okay. Oh, y'all don't know this stuff. All right.
I don't. Please tell
For some
me the
reason,
story.
at a very young age, my celebrity nemesis became Bobby Womack. And for someone born in 1997, that's not supposed to make sense. But I became a Sam Cooke fan because my parents played Sam. And
You stole his music?
I loved his voice. Like, I thought, like, if soul had a sound, it would be Sam Cooke's voice. Bobby was friends with Sam, super friends, or at least that's what Sam thought.
Right.
Sam was Bobby's mentor for a little while. Upon Sam's death, Bobby proceeds to date his wife, wear his clothes, and of course, he would want you to move on, all that, but then he dates his daughter as well, and makes a song called I Wish He Didn't Trust Me So Much. And the way I have never thought that anyone deserved to be haunted by a ghost in this way.
Man, they be plotting on you. Why
they
you
smiled in your face
all the time? They want to take your place. Yo.
The Bobby Womax.
That's crazy. That is wild as fuck. Like, oof. Para, if I die, you feel me?
Leave my wife and my kid alone.
No,
Both
murder whoever is fucking my husband.
Leave it alone.
Like,
Both of them.
avenge me. I'm not happy. Remind whoever I married that I'm not happy every day.
Sell
right?
my clothes. Don't wear those. Don't put those on.
Ew.
Sell them.
Whew. Okay, so that is the last of it. You did really great. Like I can't
We did
even.
decent.
I can't even talk shit right now. So like, what's coming up? What shows do you have?
Okay, so the next time I'm going to be on stage, it's going to be in Baltimore, Maryland, in the World Slam qualifier. They took 12 poets who won slam festivals in the year of 2023. They had a last chance slam for anyone else who wanted an opportunity to get in. And they are taking the 12 of us, and the winner of this competition in Baltimore will be representing the United States in Mexico in the Continental Slam and Africa in the World Slam as of 2024. That's the next time I'll be on stage. After that, I'll be a volunteer working at the Women of the World Poetry Slam, also in Baltimore, that whole week. Every
Yes.
year to get
You're still doing volunteer work?
love volunteer work.
Yes.
50 to 100 of like whichever women poets want to participate. We always get like an amazing list. And there's a festival of workshops, fitness classes, jam sessions, the big competition itself.
Right.
And it's just 3 or 4 days of some of like the most beautiful poetry you'll ever experience. I volunteer every single year that I've been able to. So this will be like my third or fourth. No, I think this will be my fourth in a row. Going to just, I keep score, keep time, set the chairs up, break the chairs down, pour out everybody champagne, whatever you need me to do.
Nice.
After that, there are some features I'm negotiating, but until dates are set for those, I'm gonna be chill. If anybody follows me on the gram, they'll be up pretty soon.
Cool. Yes.
I am headed back home to New York to do a $10,000 slam called Night of Champions by a very passionate curator by the name of Distinguished.
Right.
And that's supposed to be a ton of fun. He's been planning this for a couple years now. It's supposed to be a black tie event, so I get a little suited and booted to go perform for 10 bands and whatnot. And hopefully I can win me a nice little BMW or something.
Oh, hell yeah. We are wishing you the best of luck.
Thank you.
And
apart from that, I'm working on my book. I'm just working on my bag of poems. I hold workshops online called The Nitty Gritty, the series.
Can we access those? Are these links? Do you have a link tree in your Instagram?
I'm working on becoming that professional. I am. As of now, it has been people email me or DM me and I add them to the list.
Cool.
The nitty gritty is I describe my poetry as a little on the grittier side.
Okay.
Because it's just, I don't know, it's how I live comfortable in my speech.
Right.
One of my favorite battle rappers goes by the name of Rum Nitty.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, that's a phrase, and I put those together. And our first workshop we had was on bars and like structure and making them as effective as possible while still maintaining the emotion and integrity of your pieces.
Right.
And we're also going to throw some on editing, on metaphor extension, on conceptualizing. We're going to have a good time.
Cool.
And I'm getting better.
I need to be there.
At teaching by the day,
That is good. You seem like you would be a great leader and teacher, and that's where you need to head, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Major in poetry at this point,
If y'all let me, I do it.
I need somebody to like actually get out here and start teaching some classes so I can take them. Because this is interesting. But that is amazing. We are gonna head over to this tiny bookcase. And we're gonna watch Chev perform, guys.
Oh, yay.
It's gonna be amazing.
I'm excited. I can't wait to see
So
this.
stay tuned.
I've always had this hunger about me. Like when I was a boy, my stomach growled like it had teeth. Like there was a beast beneath my skin just waiting to be unleashed. My mama asked the doctor what was wrong with me, and no kidding, he said, Miss Donna, relax. Your baby boy just got that dog in him, but my father's still the biggest dog I know. Like you could throw him a stick, and he'll fetch a whole new family tree. Cheating on my mother with both the lady and the tramp will leave the puppies like garbage in the street, but I guess that's why they call it a litter. My mom has built a home of herself, and all he do is chew up the carpet. He rips at the foundation like he was at the space we took up, but when you break a home, you often break everything in it. Now, every time I leave, she checks for fleas. She says, I better not dog nobody's daughter and flee. She's looking for the animal in me because she has spent years searching for the human in her husband. I can't blame her for tracking the men in her life when all of her traumas got paw prints on them because mine do too. And my whole life, we've been wondering what to do just to make him stay. Like the first time he came to one of my games, he said it wouldn't happen again because it wasn't worth it to watch a loser. I went from a boy to a golden retriever. I brought home a state championship between my teeth. I thought if I ran like a greyhound, I could bust the distance between us while I'm chasing a relationship. He's still chasing pussy, and I wish that these were just things that a therapist knew about me, but being a dog is only dragging the skeletons out of your closet to bury the bones in the yard. I was 13 when my father told me that his father left him in Jamaica at the same age. Left him to be head of a family. Now he's stuck in a cycle of chasing tail. 14. When I found out I got a baby brother who shares my same spots but can't call the same spot on Mother's Day, I learned a dog is bred. When the God in you is turned backwards, when you've lived with this devil in your spirit because you just want somebody to hold you and love you and tell you you're a good boy, so starved for affection by the time it comes, you biting the hand that feeds you. This anger and emotional abandonment turning all your Michelangelo into Michael Vick, so now I fight everything because fuck everything. And my father fucks everything until he fucks everything up. But he tried to fight my mama one time. Like her son ain't a boxer and a guard dog who'll leave your body to rot while the cops come. If you think you gonna bully my mama, he grabbed her, I grab him, he grabbed a knife, and this is the tightest we have ever held each other until my mother becomes a leash. She pulls us apart and screams so she can't call no dog catching police, but refuses to watch us turn the bones in the yard because that is how you train a dog. You just hit him with the newspaper. You have all those stories of black boys going stray beyond the therapy he needs because there ain't no safe space for us that don't look like a cage. And we don't have the language to say how much this shit hurts my father and I. We spoke 1,000 times since then, but we ain't never talked once because I know just as much as his blood hounds me that he's a wounded dog too, howling at the moon, begging to know if all dogs go to heaven, but in case they don't, I pray our teeth grow dull. I pray our lungs grow too tired to growl, and that damn dog and me and my father gets put down so we can finally just sit and heal.